I've tried the hottest makeup trends of 2026 and I'm going to show you how to achieve them. I started with this, and this is the finished look. I'm going to try and match this side with this side and show you what techniques I used. If you're still religiously patting on products to get that glass skin, that trend seems to have moved on. Which of these trends are actually worth trying and which are worth keeping your distance from? So on this side I have cloud skin, which is not glassy but satiny, metallic high shine eyes but they're still forgiving, a bold eyeliner that glistens but it's wearable, blushes that are blended and seamless, and lastly a blurred lip that is still bold and it's not glossy. I've used my makeup, but you can use whatever you've got in your collection. This is more about technique than it is about products, so use what you've got, shop your stash. I'm ready to spill the tea and show you exactly how I got this. Let's get started. The most important transition is cloud skin. Now, for years we were all trying to get that shiny glassy skin, but this is the more sophisticated cousin. I used a combination of my Very Valentino Light Perfecting Foundation and a little bit of Rhode's Glazing Milk. I love this foundation. I haven't even used any concealer. It's just such a good foundation and nobody talks about it. And when you mix it with a little bit of glazing milk, which I picked up from a Hailey tutorial, it gives you that wonderful cloudy, not glass, but it does actually feel very satiny. This creates a really nice foundation which lets a bold eye and a bold lip shine without trying to compete with it. It's also very flattering. Sometimes glass skin does emphasize texture and make you look a little bit sweaty, but this gives you a fine balance between a glow but not bling. I prefer not to use a powder, but you can use the tiniest bit of translucent powder if that's what you want. I have quite dry skin, so I don't really need powder, but if you do, go for it. But use just a light dusting. We've got metallic and high shine eyes, and this is the Danessa Myrix Colour Fix Sticks in duo number 4 in Apollo and Artemis, and I just literally put on a base of the darker brown, blended it out, trying to get my eyes even, and then I use the other side, the lighter shimmer just on the middle. This is a more grown-up version, I think, of the frosted and glittery eyes that we've seen in the past, what I call the Euphoria eye. But this is more about chrome metallic finishes that bring a bit of light to your eyes without being too overwhelming. And they can be a little bit messy and a little bit lived in. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one sees you that close, it's more about the overall effect. I have done my brows on both sides. This is the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil and this is my Maybelline Superlock, and then I added a Kulfi mascara. This Kulfi has such a brilliant little fluffy top, which means you can get right in to your corners. It's very clever. We also have the return of the bold eyeliner. After years of no makeup, the 2026 liner is about using your eyes as a tiny canvas for some personal art. It can feel a bit bold for an everyday look, but if you think that, leave it out. It's not necessary. That's going to be good enough. I bought this quite a few months ago and I just loved the colour. It's the About Face liquid shadow in Rebirth, and it is this bright green. Now, I have been reluctant to use it on my entire eye, but what I have found is it's quite a good graphic eyeliner, perfect for this trend. What I do is I take the stiffest angled brush that I have and just take some off the wand and use it just as an eyeliner. Let's see if I can get these even. Open eye. Because I've got hooded eyes, it's taken me a minute to get this to be even, but if you don't have hooded eyes, you can just draw it on because it's just a liquid. It's absolutely brilliant. I haven't taken it all the way to the inner corner because I think it looks more natural this way, but you can, if you want, take it right into the inner corner and wing it out. So this is perfect for a night out. Might feel a little bit bold for an everyday look, but if you're feeling that you want to be a little bit elevated, this is perfect. Here we go. I've used all three of these Rhode colours. They are Toasted Teddy, Candy Apple and Spicy Marg. That was Toasted Teddy. This is now Candy Apple. The Toasted Teddy is popping through, Candy Apple is slightly above that, and finally Spicy Marg, which I dot on the apples of my cheeks. So it's a much more blended vibe, not harsh lines, not contouring. I haven't used a contour. For my highlighter, I've used this Rare Beauty in Exhilarate and just tapped a little bit on the top. I'm matching up quite well. It's less about reshaping your face. It's more about gently enhancing the structure that you have. It's just so flattering and wearable for practically everyone. It gives you a sort of I've just fallen in love kind of glow. I set it. This is the YSL in 06, the Make Me Blush. So I set everything with a little light dusting of powder. Isn't that pretty? This is a sort of evolution of contour and I'm so here for it. And finally, a nice matte lip. Now, if you're having panic attacks thinking back to that crusty, super dry lips of the past, this is Matte 2.0. This lip doesn't look like it's been drawn on with razor sharp precision. The whole vibe is effortlessly chic and lived in. I use the Rhode Peptide Lip Liner in Lean, which I believe Hayley wore at the Met Gala. Then I used YSL's Love Nude Lip Shaping Liner in 1. Then I followed it up with the YSL Lip Blush in 44. That's my contour done. It's the texture that makes it feel so fresh, and because the new formulas have so many good skincare products in them, no cracked lips. There we go. I think this is a perfect look that looks effortless and yet sophisticated, with that little pop of green on the eyes. I think makes such a difference. We've moved on from the sharp contours and the super wet skin into a softer and more intentional style. I think it feels modern and perfectly balanced and doesn't look like you've tried too hard. As I said, I probably wouldn't use a powder normally, but just to show you, if you really want to use a little powder, this is the Givenchy in 03. Just a soft, like literally the tiniest amount. And just to add that final finishing touch, one size powder melt. I know it sounds a bit weird melting the powder after you've powdered, but this is a really, really good setting spray. But now I want to know what you think. Are you ready to say goodbye to glass skin? Which of these trends are you most excited to try for yourself? I do read every comment, and if you enjoyed this and want to stay on top of the latest in beauty, hit the like button, subscribe. All the products I've used will be listed in the description box down below, but as I said, you can use whatever you've got. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.